Hey everybody. Good to see you guys this evening. It's time for NXT, and I'm sorry, I'm hearing a noise in my house like as soon as I started the stream. And it's over here in the corner. And me and my channel mascot are both like, what is this? I'm not scared, I'm just confused. He might be a little scared. Nevertheless, um, man, well, what a week it's been in the WWE, right? Especially as it relates to our joined reason for spending time together, NXT. Um, Tell you what, man, if NXT was bread and milk, the last 2 weeks have been hurricane season and or whatever natural disaster of your liking, because the pantry has been raided in NXT. We, over the next couple of weeks, appear to have lost Ethan Page, Sol Ruka, Joe Hendry, 3 members of Fatal Influence, more people. Ethan Page, Sol Ruka, let's see. Ricky Saints, possibly, as well, who I believe is going to be debuting on SmackDown this week, although he is wrestling tonight. Yeah, like I'm already on 7 wrestlers. Did I say Blake already? Blake Monroe? Okay, Blake Monroe. Okay, there you go. That's 8. And listen, 8 for NXT is an incredibly high number. I don't think in my years of watching NXT we've seen this many call-ups at one time. Now, obviously, Fatal Influence is doing a lot of heavy lifting on that, being a group of 3 that's coming up together. I think we were all in agreement that JC was going to be moving up. We weren't sure about Fallon and Lainey. Honestly, I was very surprised about Lainey because she's still like brand new, you know? I think she'll be fine. It's not that she's out of her element necessarily, but I just thought she'd spend more time. NXT is panic buying the toilet paper, right? Like, well, NXT is the toilet paper. It's Raw and SmackDown who are panic buying the toilet paper, which is wild because between Javon, Trick, Oba, and Royce Keys, and like Penta, and like I don't know, a lot of these like still new-ish or newer talent, I just like I'm happy, right, that they're getting called up and getting their chance, but like, is the main roster ready to handle them the right way? That's what I want to know. I hope they don't fumble any of them because all those people who got called up all have very much a lot of potential for big appeal. And, I think it was Dawsey who already mentioned it in the chat. Street Profits have come back as well. Oh, here we go. Robert Stone is addressing all the departures with Shawn Michaels and Matt Bloom. Last name, we'll talk about the releases tonight. Ooh. All right, Sean. That was kind of a cool segment. So yeah, listen, the big secret is not a secret. NXT's roster has been gutted over the past couple of months now. And Sean, I can try to quote verbatim what he said. He says, you can write little names on index cards and put posters on a whiteboard, draw faces on a whiteboard of who you want to replace, or you can throw a stick of dynamite in the locker room and see who runs the hell out. So like that is a very Shawn Michaels mentality, I think, of like, because Shawn, for a shoot, him and Brett were 2 of those guys who, when people left WWE, your Macho Mans and your Hogans and your other big name people, they were the ones who were like, oh yeah, you give me a shot now? Well, I'm going to take the ball, I'm going to run with it. And that's exactly who Shawn Michaels has always been as a performer. So now he's telling Robert Stone to do the same with the NXT locker room. So I still think I still think they're going to bring in some new names, but I do like the idea of, at least on camera, them having this thesis statement of, we're going to take who we have and elevate and cultivate and developmental the next brand of top tier NXT stars and get them ready for the main roster, because that is what NXT is. So, like, if you watch this show, and a lot of you have been with me for at least a year since Mark by Wrestling is doing this, this is always what NXT has been. We get to see the preview of who the next big names are. Some of them sink, some of them swim when they get called up. But we get to see them shine here and make our conjectures on how they'll fare at the next level. And so now is the rebuilding year right now. It starts now, and not a full calendar year necessarily, but now is the phase of rebuilding. So we're going to see who's got next. And our opening match is a North American title match. Dark State continuing to possibly crumble from the inside, as now Saquon Shugars has a shot against Myles Bourne, much to the chagrin of Dion Lennox, who lost his shot against Myles Bourne because of Dark State's interference, mainly Shugars' backfiring interference. So, yeah, we still got Bane Tony D'Angelo. He's the face of NXT now. I mean, that is a gutted men's division. So I'm very interested to see what kind of scene we set for the Tony era. Because, I mean, you've got Myles here, but he's the North American champion. And you've got Keanu Carver, who's super green. He's got some upside, but, like, dude ain't ready for the world title scene, not even an NXT. Jasper Troy, who just came from LFG, basically. You got Shiloh Hill, who's actually overperforming, I would say, right now. But yeah, the women's division still has a lot of talent in it, because they were over blessed, and I mean that just in a performative sense. Although they're all very lovely ladies, but So you've got a ton of talent there in the women's division still, even with all the departures. So we'll come back as we got Myles and Shugars here. I think Myles is still going to retain. I think the story is with Dark State continuing to crumble, and I don't think I don't think we're doing anything. Anyway, good to see you guys. I see Tyrell, see Zach, Dossie, Sophie, George. All the usual suspects are here. Last name. Good to see you guys. So I'm marking a few comments to bring up during commercial break that we can talk about. Oh, A&B combos in here. I just came up and just got caught up with all the comments. Good to see you guys here in the house as well in our first episode of NXT, where there's no toilet paper left on the shelves. So we're here watching Tony D'Angelo doing his best Will Smith looking around the empty living room. We're gonna see what the landscape for NXT looks like. Shawn Michaels already got a fire under his heartbreak booty to light the fuse and challenge the locker room to step up. So very interested to see where we go from here. And of course, NXT, 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 NXT. Let's go. Smash that like button. What's up to everybody in the chat? What's up to A&B Combos Wrestling Edition, live from the SIP, Mississippi. I assume you guys are home in Mississippi right now. That's what some people call Mississippi. Uh-oh. Myles Bourne hits an exposed turnbuckle. I wasn't okay, so not an exposed turnbuckle, but the connecting rod from the turnbuckle to the post. Sugar's trying to advance, but it looks like we're getting in the deep, deep south. Yes, indeedy. I thought we were going to a break, but maybe we are going to a break. All right. Either picture-in-picture or commercial, I'm not really sure. But while we're doing this, gonna throw a few comments from earlier in the evening on the screen, and let's just go through them while we're on break. All right. First of all, Dulcie bring up before the show started, NXT PLEs, starting with the Great American Bash, will be on the CW. I think this is great news. My preference is that they could have stuck to YouTube. However, this is great for NXT's exposure because other than just weekly TV being on, public television, prime time, it's going to have that wider audience, right? And it'll be interesting to see too, for those of you who follow ratings talk. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I'd be interested to see how ratings perform for the PLEs being on the same channel as the weekly television. You know what I mean? So I'm curious how that goes. Now I will say this, since it's on broadcast TV, you can expect the action and commercials to follow the same weekly TV format. So I do think that's going to be annoying because, we're conditioned when we watch PLEs to expect less ads for the action. And it's not really going to be a premium live event. It's just a live event because it's on the same channel as all the other weekly TV. So on that regard, I think it may drag a little bit. It may feel a little different, maybe not feel as special at first. But what NXT has always done to be special is ramp up their match quality on those shows, going all the way back to the black and gold days. And they still have possessed that mentality, even if some of the newer PLEs haven't matched the matte black and gold in like star rating quality. You can tell they always ramp it up a notch for their big shows. So I think that'll be palpable and noticeable in those programmings and in those shows. But yeah. Overall, happy for NXT getting a built-in wide base for their PLEs going forward. It's better than Peacock. It's absolutely better than Peacock. Maybe it's not better than YouTube. We'll have to see. But you know what? Still love it. Still love it. All right. Coming up next. Oh, Sophie, you asked the same question. So nevertheless. All right. 25 seconds till we get back. How do I feel about WWE releases? You know what? I'm going to come back to that because I can't answer that in 25 seconds, let alone 16 seconds. When NXT superstars got called up, people were saying, who does NXT have left that people would care about? NXT already has a deep women's division already. You still have Lola Vice, Tatum Paxley, Kendall Gray, Ren Sinclair, Izzy Dame, even though we don't love her. I am curious how the men's division will shake out, though. And as far as NXT's releases, NXT didn't lose anybody that we were super high on in the first place. And I don't mean any harm by that, but yeah. All right. We are back live. Okay. Catching back up with the ads. Do I think Jacob Fatu? We'll talk about Jacob Fatu in the next commercial break too, because I actually have not seen the entirety of Monday Night Raw. I tried to do a good dad thing and took my son to the gym last night and worked out with him. And now I'm sore because I'm out of shape, but he's not. He's a monster. He looks like a baby. We're going to call him Baby Femi. He looks like a baby Obafemi. Anyways, I haven't seen all of Raw. I followed along on social media. I'm kind of up to speed on where things are. But I haven't watched a whole lot of it. You know what I mean? So we'll talk about Jacob, and I'd like y'all's input on that when we get to that discussion tonight. Chris Wrestling Views, what's up, man? We are in the opening match right now. Chris Wrestling Views, Saquon Shugars challenging Myles Bourne for the NXT title. Dark State around the ring, having his back. And also Shawn Michaels met with Robert Stone and Matt Bloom, formerly known as A-Train, kind of in a backstage scene at the beginning of the show, just basically acknowledging that their roster has really been gutted with the call-ups, and they're going to light the language he used was throw a stick of dynamite in the locker room. and see who runs out trying to challenge and light a fire under the remaining performers in NXT. So we're going to see what we get. And they did mention bringing up people from Evolve, LFG, and some international talent as well. Oh, absolutely. Jacob's a dangerous man, last name, for sure. Oh, I believe you, George. I think, oh, wow. Hard landing for Shugars, too. You know what? It's funny. There's always these Shawn Michaels Easter eggs. Shugars tried to look like a back suplex off the top with Miles, which Miles reversed like into a sort of a high cross body. And that spot right there that you just saw is how Shawn Michaels won his first Intercontinental title against the British Bulldog. That very same spot. Wait till I see Raw. All right, Chris, I'm with you, dude. You can see Roxanne Perez leaving Judgment Day. I heard she got a real I mean, they were in her hometown last night, right? So she got a real warm reception from the hometown crowd. How do I like Fatal Influence debut on the main roster? Man, I was so happy for them because I got to be honest, I don't always trust the main roster crowds to recognize how special NXT talent is when they first show up. I typically think they need a few weeks, kind of like what happened with Danhausen. Like when he first showed up, they were like, huh? But then after a week, they're like, oh, we totally get it. And we're in. That's how I feel about it. By the way, I'm talking all over this match. Saquon Shugars is selling his butt off in this match. He is bumping like a madman for Miles. He's so talented. He and Lennox both, I feel like, will benefit from not being a part of Dark State in the future. Anyways, yeah, we'll see what happens. I think I have a visiting pet who might actually want to go outside. So bear with me. I'll be right back, everybody. Just going to hit the old. Oh, Dark State be Dark Stating. Oh, Lennox and Shugars now arguing again. And yeah, we get a repeat of last week here. Malfunction at the junction in Dark State, specifically between Lennox and Shugars. Ooh, a little Johnny Gargano-ish, a slingshot zigzag. Well, actually, I kind of like that. It's a little Gargano-ish. Okay, and there it is. Bourne retains. So there we go. But anyways, yeah, I liked Fatal Influence being on the main roster. Oh my gosh, this cat. Give me a second. You're the worst. Oh man, this is why I'm a dog person. All right. Anyways, yeah. So, anyways, so more. Let's see. Bourne retains more turmoil in Dark State. Oh, someone's interrupting. Who's speaking? They have. Wait. Is that Elton Tristan Angels? Who is that? Tristan Angels looks like 1989 Shawn Michaels, right down to the cross earring. Cam Hendricks from LFG. Okay, so people are showing up. Well, I mean, I don't know anything about Cam Hendricks, but he's got a good look. We'll see. We'll see what comes from that. So we already got two new faces in the North American title division. Hey, Ren QCC. Haven't seen these ladies in a couple weeks. Hey, there's Kalani. I forgot Kalani was still here. Ooh, Ren versus Kalani tonight. Non-title. Interesting. I could get used to these three. Did I see the Trick Williams slapping meme? I did see the shot of him backhanding that dude, which honestly was pretty funny. All right, let's catch up. Commercial break. You know, I didn't want Blake Monroe to be called up. So let me, for those of you who are new to my sentiment about Blake Monroe, let me clarify. I am 100% pro Blake Monroe in WWE at any level. However, with the impending call-ups we were all certain were going to happen, JC Jane and Sol Ruka specifically, I felt like thinking ahead. I thought that Blake had a really good opportunity to be in a good feud with Lola Vice for the women's championship. I thought she would be a natural first contender for her because we saw that Blake and Tatum were going to be wrapping up their feud. And I thought Blake really could be the next face of the women's division, you know, even for the next year. So it just felt a little premature by the main roster. It's not that I don't think Blake Monroe's ready or anything. I just think the women's division in particular is so stacked with talent. They don't have to be in they don't have to be in a hurry, you know, to shove these women in. So I just wasn't in a hurry to see Blake get called up because one, I don't want her to get lost in the shuffle. I think she's too talented, especially as a personality, to be lost in the shuffle. But yeah, also she could have been like the crown jewel, no pun intended, of the women's division in NXT for a little while and get that shine before she moved up. But you know, that's not what happened, and that's okay. But anyway, I am really glad that Fatal Influence got a strong reaction from the crowd. Honestly, between that, Trick Williams, Javon Evans, and Obafemi, and Sol Ruka, that tells me that the NXT broadcast is trickling down or trickling up to the main roster audience more now than it ever has been. Because if you think back to the past, the really big debuts have been people who were already famous before they came to NXT, say like your Adam Coles or something like that, even though he didn't really spend any time on the main roster. Or if they were in their hometowns, think about Sami Zayn showing up for the John Cena challenge in Montreal, you know? So I think that their pipeline is tight of NXT to main roster with the general WWE Universe audience now. It's not 100%, but I think it is going really well. I could argue that the current main roster WWE Universe set of fans is more prepared to receive an NXT call up now than they've ever been. Take that or leave it, but that's what I'm sticking with. Now, let's see. Yeah, I'm sorry, Sophie, that I haven't been as present on here lately. Like I just life's been really hard lately, and I just haven't had, I won't forsake NXT, and obviously I did WrestleMania. And I'll keep doing the PLEs. But Raw and SmackDown are a little harder to come by right now. So we'll see what we can. That was Maxine's husband. Thank you, Chris Wrestling Views. I knew I had seen him on WWE television for something. That's the guy. Okay, well, he's getting his shot. I'm glad Kalani didn't say for the title. She was going to get called up like Lash after losing to Kendall. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot Lash came up too. Think about all these NXT people who have like showed up on WrestleMania and all this other stuff. Like, man, oh man. All right. Releases. I still haven't talked about that. Shamanika said, I know Blake really didn't want to come up on her recent interview, but she will do well. You're 100% Shamanika. She is a swimmer. She is not a sinker. When she gets brought up, I can't wait to see her interact with the Tiffany Strattons and Chelsea Greens and Jade Cargills of the world on SmackDown. And by the way, Tony Bane D'Angelo making his appearance, making his entrance tonight, our NXT champion. I have full faith in her side of the table. And honestly, let's be honest. She looks like a classic WWE beauty. Okay. So like, I think her drive is there. I think she'll get pushed hard. She's got that vicious streak in her. Clearly comes off like she's coachable and willing to learn. And she looks like the exact kind of gorgeous female performer that traditionally WWE pushes hard. Think about your Sunnies, your Sables, now all of them weren't necessarily good wrestlers, but they got a lot of camera time, right? And so she falls right into that. Charlotte, Tiffany, the blonde bombshell. And she could be an all-timer WWE blonde bombshell before it's all over. We'll see. That's a lot to say right now. But yeah, so I'm with you, Shamanika. I think she'll perform really well as long as she can stay healthy, as long as she doesn't say anything stupid like, other wrestlers being in each other's DMs, like Tiffany did that time with Charlotte. But we'll see what happens. A couple more comments I'll come back to when we have time. Probably why they gave her the belt so Blake can take it from Tiffany at SummerSlam. Ooh, Shamanika. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody make sure there's a fire extinguisher nearby because Miss Shamanika is cooking with grease right now. Tiffany and Blake at SummerSlam. And also Tiffany's from Minnesota, so she's going to get a title defense at SummerSlam. Come on with it. I'm with you. They should put Blake with Tiffany and Chelsea Green. Ultimately, last name, I wouldn't start that way, but you could end that way. All right, Tony's dragging the men's locker room. Nobody's tough enough. Now, somebody sent Tony a mystery box, not a Danhausen-sized box, but a little gift box that had a Japanese symbol on it for war. We theorized on that last week that it could be Evil from New Japan. It was a warning. Blackout. All right. I hear Japanese music being played. We're going to get a debut right now. Who's it going to be? I'm not going to assume I know who it is, even if we see him. Either way, we're getting an impressively produced entrance here. This is evil. All y'all are calling evil. Had a little mask on the Tron. Not too un-Asuka like. Yeah, I mean, there's this like a devil mask, but there's no like Chiron or logo or name formally introduced to the audience yet. Crowd's starting to chant evil though. All right, y'all have to put me on game about evil. I've never seen him work once, and he's presenting a gift to Tony D. Looks like a scroll of some type, or maybe a rolled up T-shirt. This tied. Yep, that is evil. He bows to Tony, and it's is that a towel or a shirt? Did he just give him some free merch? The symbol for war. War evil, not war eagle for you Auburn fans. Can anybody give me a counterpart, a comparison for a shorthand, if you will, for how I can someone else has already nasty belly to belly. Who is this? That Tavion Heights? Tavion Heights got cornrows now. Now somebody else is in the ring. Who's that? Moonsault. Kind of a chubby dude. He looks like Ralphie May. A little skinnier. Who is that? That generally had the look of a wrestling fan, whoever that guy was, which is not a great look, by the way. Some tubby dude came in and did a moonsault onto Tony. So Tony threw down the gauntlet, and the gauntlet got back up and smacked him in the mouth. First of all, Evil is here. Evil confronts Tony D'Angelo in a respectful but menacing way. Tavion Heights has turned heel. He's got cornrows, and he cuts promos at the camera like peak bloodline Roman Reigns. And meanwhile, tubby dude who looks like a fan, an agile fan, does a moonsault off the top rope onto a prone Tony D'Angelo. Shiloh and Tatum at the grave of Blake Monroe. It couldn't have been a fan, Chris Wrestling Views. I mean, surely not, right? Because security would have been rushing the ring, right? Right? This is so Addams Family coded. I kind of love it. Wednesday and Pugsley. Shiloh Hill is like the Pugsley Adams of NXT. Sophie, I don't know if NXT will get new fans, but I do think more fans will watch the PLEs. Oh, look at Shiloh being a legit good friend to Tatum. I love this for her. Hey, Celeste. Yeah, Shiloh and Ricky Saints. Ricky's swan song. Shiloh's so weird, dude. Kind of enjoy it. Strange, but kind of wholesome segment. So weird. I wouldn't say Bray Wyatt. I think he's more like if Bray Wyatt had a baby with R-Truth. Like, there is a creepiness to him, but far more levity than anything in the Wyatt universe. Or a Bray Wyatt who is 100% of the time, 24 hours a day in the Firefly Funhouse version. Yeah. Oh yeah, Callie and Lizzy Rain. Yeah, Lizzy Rain's debuting tonight as well. So we'll have to see. Tell you what, man, this is gonna all right, everybody. Just buckle up and lock in, because for the next few weeks, we are going to be learning a lot of names. Like, I've already forgotten the names that debuted to attack Myles Bourne. There's 1989 Shawn Michaels, the English guy, and who else showed up? The Maxine's boyfriend. So yeah. All right, now let's talk about the releases, because you guys asked. How do you feel about the releases? All right, first and foremost, releases are a part of the business. It happens every year. I'm never happy to see that anybody lost their job. As someone who's lost jobs, many of them over the course of my life, I never enjoy seeing somebody lose their job. It never makes me happy. So I feel two things on the opposite side of the line at the same time. I wish them the best. I really hope for the people who weren't happy there, that they find a place that they are happy, whether that's TNA, whether that is AEW, whether it's the Indies, or whether it's Japan, or whether it's just, finding their career. Nikki Cross has a doctorate. She got her doctorate while she was off TV on WWE for part of that time. So she is prepared to have a legitimate career field if she wants to. No shade to pro wrestling, of course. So, I wish the best for them all. Out of the releases that I can recall off the top of my head, a few of them did make me sad and a little puzzled. Obviously, Kairi Sane is a big point of contention. I'd be very curious to know the timeline and the decision-making about Kairi Sane. How much of that was Kairi's wishes? How much of that was Triple H's wishes? How much of it was TKO involvement? And when they came to those conclusions? Because I still am a little disappointed that they didn't have Asuka, Kairi, and Io involved at WrestleMania in their own match. We're going to get Asuka and Io at Backlash, which is great. They're going to do a great job. But now it really feels strange that what's up, B? It's very strange that Kairi's not going to be a part of that. Bo Dallas specifically in the Wyatt Six, I wish would have stuck around. But to be honest, and I have longer thoughts about the Wyatt Six. Maybe me and A and B can talk about it sometime. But I'm not as beaten up that the rest of the Wyatt Six got released because the company wasn't using them properly. Their debut was fantastic. I was a big fan of them being out of the title picture and just chasing down factions and teams that were dealing with manners of betrayal. So putting them in the title picture and that feud with the MFTs didn't really do it for me. And also, I think they were too humanized as supernatural kind of characters. And I would have rather have seen it might have been hard for him, so maybe it wouldn't have been a good idea. But I would have rather seen Bo Dallas as a solo act, being himself, sort of chasing the memory and legacy of Bray for a shoot. Like, really trying to find who he is as a performer in the shadow of Bray's memory. That might have been too hard and too much to ask, and maybe I'm out of pocket for saying that. But I would have rather just seen, because my favorite stuff that the Wyatt Six did were those VHS promos where they cut promos in their real personas without the masks and kind of eulogizing Bray while talking about their own identities too. I thought Bo was at his absolute peak in this most current run doing that. And they could have done that. Alistair and Zelina, I'm sad about as well. I liked them pairing Zelina with Alistair finally. And it just feels like they got cold feet on pushing Aleister Black, and I don't know why. Made me sad. So I don't know. And then the Motor City Machine Guns, I'm not sad about that. I think we found out that WWE just isn't the place for them. WWE doesn't use them correctly, and they also didn't connect with the audience. Sorry, like I think TNA or AEW would be far better for them if either of those companies can utilize them correctly. Okay, Dossie. That's the thing I was going to say, Dossie, about Kyrie specifically is even if it was Triple H's call to release Kyrie, I just don't believe as a booker he would go out of his way to cut her when they haven't figured out how to resolve that story yet, because that's just bad booking. And if anything, he's not a stupid booker. Oh, BirthRight cutting to a video from earlier the day of them attacking. Who is that they've attacked? Oh, BirthRight was having a tag match against Van Dukes and the other guy. I'm still learning names, man. Prosper, EK Prosper. So here comes EK Prosper by himself. He's going to try to challenge BirthRight by himself. That's 4-on-1, dog. Black surely doesn't want to go to AEW. Who's here to help? Sean Legacy. Sean Legacy is back. I heard he was cleared to compete a week ago or so. So Legacy is here. Yeah, I heard Black didn't. I mean, that's all rumor and conjecture, but I heard Black didn't really get along with some of the more influential members of the AEW locker room. All right, so we're probably going to have a Teddy Long style impromptu tag match player. Oh, what's up, Mod Father? Sorry I didn't say hi to you earlier. Glad you could be. You have not missed Miss Parker. She has not graced our screens just yet. Yeah, exactly, George. Don't be surprised if we see some of them again. Yeah, Chelsea Green being all by herself. Believe in Ricky. Yeah, Ricky's coming back on Friday, man. He's debuting. All right, so we're locked in on this tag match now. Big stomp to the back of Connors. I'm telling you, man, I'm a fan of Nepo babies just using the gimmick last name. Like, why don't we just call him Finley? You can call him Connor Finley. Prosper out here flipping like crazy. Yeah, Piper Niven is not released right now, but she has been dealing with a nasty career-threatening neck injury, and we haven't seen her since she left for that. So hopefully, if she wants to come back, there'll still be room for her. But they seem to be, entertaining new dance partners with Chelsea. So we'll see what happens. So we'll see. For Zoe and Santos. Yeah, I thought they were going to do something with Santos, especially in AAA. Looks like that didn't turn out to be much. And Zoe, God bless her. Yeah, this is the other thing to talk about releases. This was the other side of the coin. I'm so over social media and like internet wrestling fans doing their performative outrage over releases. Because speaking of Zoe being one of the people who was released, how many of these same people were crying for Io to get cut when Zoe got hurt, when they just had an accident in the ring? I remember several people blaming Io for Zoe's injury and saying she didn't belong in WWE as a result and that she needed to be released and all this other stuff. But now when she gets released, it's hashtag we want Kyrie. So there's a deep pool of people who just always want a reason to point the finger at WWE no matter what they do. So that's why, to a degree, I'm like, it's just a part of the business, releases. That's always going to happen, and it's unfortunate for the people that it happens to. But I also don't care about getting outraged. Like, it's stupid. It's stupid to get outraged about it. Just instead of finding ways to whine about WWE, find ways to support the people who were cut if you really care that much. Karrion Kross was actually one of the loudest people to say that this time around. He's like, if you really care about the people who got cut, find ways to support them on the indies, follow them and all this other stuff, stay in contact with them. And he's right. That's the best thing you can do. Oh no, Sophie, I don't even think there is a We Want Kyrie movement. Not enough to call it a movement. I don't believe for a second that's going to get the traction that Truth did. Because for starters, the Truth situation rippled through multiple pro wrestling locker rooms upon Truth's news of his release. And Kyrie, God bless her, love her, didn't get that. Didn't get that at all. So she hasn't gotten nearly the groundswell of support that Truth got. So I think it started there with the actual locker rooms, because you had WWE, TNA, AAA, AEW, all kinds of people speaking up for Ron Killings, legends, all this other stuff. And that's not happening for Kyrie because I don't think people are as mad about it as they pretend. And so, yeah, you heard Kyrie wanted to go back to Japan in the first place. And like, that's the thing too. Like, you can't, even if you're in a great booking situation, like, granted, we think we all of us who were talking about it anyways, wanted that match at Mania. You can't bring passion out of somebody who doesn't want to stay. And you know what? If she wants to go back to Japan, man, give her what she wants. I would want Kyrie happy and where she can thrive more than anything. So, but anyway, hate to see releases happen, but it's the nature of the beast. We don't get call-ups without releases like that. That's just the God's honest truth. So that's just how it goes. Yeah, it was a Lucha Underground teaser. I mean, you know what? If it does come back, that would be a lot of fun, and that would be a great, not outlet, but a great location for more people to go to, which could be a lot of fun. All right, back on this tag match here. BirthRight taking on EK Prospero. It's supposed to be Prosper and Van Dukes. Van Dukes attacked earlier in the day by BirthRight, and a returning Sean Legacy makes his way to partner up. So this is our singles mixer of NXT, where everybody should be wearing a name tag tonight, since all the call-ups have come up to the main roster, and we're seeing almost nothing but new names tonight. Funny, this would happen around the NFL draft and this just time of year, seeing all these brand new people. Yeah, George, I think BirthRight taking the L here could really cement more strength in Sean Legacy in his return. But I tell you what, BirthRight can't be taking too many L's. I gotta say that, or else there's going to be trouble there. Because this is one, I would say BirthRight has a little more momentum than Dark State does in terms of fan interaction. They don't want to squander all that right away. Yeah, I would love for them to kick out Stacks and replace him with Brooks Jensen or somebody else. Oh, that's cool, B. I would have loved to have meet Lexus King. I wonder how Although I would be really tempted to ask him about his dad, and that probably would have been a little out of pocket. But just grew up watching his dad, was a huge fan of his dad, and love to see him coming into his own. Little standing lion salt. Michinoku driver from Prosper. Oh, nasty super kick from Connors. Now Legacy, now Stacks. We're falling apart here, everybody. That's cool, B. Swanton. Standing double stomp by Legacy breaks up the pin. B, one thing I'd like to see from Lexus King that I think he could really standing Spanish fly from Legacy. Legacy Spanish fly might be my favorite Spanish fly giver. Was it Joe Hendry B? Anyway, nevertheless, oh, jeez. That finish from Legacy, just nasty work. About Lexus King, the thing I would say about him, wow. Yeah, don't sing here on in public. Oh, BirthRight coming back for the heat afterwards. That's probably the best way to do this. Let Legacy get his win, let BirthRight get their heat back. The thing about Lexus King, I think about his dad. The thing that I thought was so good about Pillman is that Pillman was such a physical underdog. He was like legit smaller. He was probably 5'5", 5'6", maybe. Now there's somebody here. Tate Wilder from Evolve. Man, I need to make a list. I am not going to be remembering all these names by the end of the night. And the NXT random name generator would make you cuss by the end of the night. Some of the names are so random. Man, he goes for a standing shooting star, but didn't really hit anybody. Anyway, Lexus King. So his dad, Brian Pillman, Flying Brian, before he became the loose cannon. I'm telling you, like 5 foot mid, a cruiserweight before cruiserweights were a thing, right? He would get in the ring with a Sid Vicious, and he had the attitude of like a chihuahua, just like an angry little dog. Like he'd get in the ring and he'd smack a Sid Vicious in the face. He'd get plastered and power bombed on his head as a result, but he was just unafraid. And I kind of want to see part of that in Lexus King. Granted, he's a heel, but I know Callie Armstrong is stepping to Miss Parker. Callie, you don't know nobody. You don't know nobody in this locker room. Callie, I do not like them pairing up Callie with Miss Parker, because Callie is just starting to get her traction, and that makes me feel nervous for Miss Parker. Unless she's about to ship up and ship out and move up as well, in which case Miss Parker on the main roster. But yeah, I don't have a good feeling about this. I do not have a good feeling about this for Miss Parker. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Cause like Miss Parker is one of those women too I'm thinking about, like her, Lola, Tatum. I was thinking Blake before she got called up. Let them have a run on the NXT main event scene. Because, even Kalani hasn't won the women's championship yet. She was North American champion. She was the first North American champion. And she was Knockouts champion. But some of these ladies, I mean, you could use them, you could space them out, call them up one at a time instead of this huge influx. Because remember, we've already got like 8 or 9 names coming right up to the main roster just over the past few weeks. That's not counting your Oba, Trick, and Javon as well. So, yeah, we still got Zarya too. Oh yeah, we still got Zarya in NXT as well. She just sent soul packing and almost sent her soul packing at the end of that last woman standing match last week. Yeah, Jada Parker isn't quite doing Tony D'Angelo numbers, but she has been in NXT for a minute. So in terms of time served, she might be ready to be called up. But with Fatal Influence, Sol Ruca, Blake Monroe, yeah, I don't know if creative has proven that they can balance their creative mental bandwidth to do something for her. Because we're just talking about call-ups right now. We're not talking about the actual main roster women. Your Kyrie, sorry, not Kyrie. Your Eos and your Rias and your Jades and your Liv Morgans and Stephanie Vaquer, although she is on the mend. I think that gives us a little bit of insight, by the way, into how short their match was at Mania. Sounds like Stephanie was working hurt, which we'd already heard. You know, she'd been walking in a boot, remember, a month ago or so. So between her and Liv getting that massive goose egg in the week before Mania and stuff, they were the walking wounded, both of them. So yeah, we'll see what comes from it all. Oh goodness. Okay. Yeah. Here's the bad thing too, Sophie, is not only is the SmackDown roster thin and it's getting loaded up now, if they're going back down to 2 hours, that means the roster is going to have to go back to fighting for airtime again. I don't know that we'll see Stephanie Vaquer at Backlash. I think we'll have to find a new challenger for Liv, if Liv defends her title at Backlash at all, because you're probably going to get a 5-card show, 5-match card. I mean, for Backlash, because we're done with Mania, and our next 2-nighter is SummerSlam. So we're going to go back to those smaller cards with longer matches. Do you think Tony T could have gotten called up eventually? Yeah. I honestly think this current iteration of Tony is probably like a litmus test for this version of Tony moving up instead of Mafia Tony. Chris Wrestling Views, I don't disagree. A little earlier, although that's harder for us on the West Coast. It would be nice. Hey, Jada Parker makes the graphic for NXT. So yeah, the PLEs come into CW. Yeah, Dawsey is like an Ultimate Warrior type entrance, utilizing all that energy before the bell rings. Yeah, we're gonna have Roman and Jacob at Backlash. We're gonna have Asuka and Io at Backlash. That's 2 matches already, so we might have only 3, maybe 4 matches left. All right, recapping last week. Vic Joseph and Booker T on commentary, by the way, as always. And we're about halfway through the show, everybody. This feels like tonight's gone by fast. There's been a lot of debuts. Hard to keep track of any of them, to be honest. And I still want to know who that big guy was who pulled off the moonsault. Oh, geez. Izzy Dame. I hated this promo. I said it before and I say it again. Lola should have cut off that promo mid-sentence and absolutely back-fisted Izzy Dame right then and there. No, George, she doesn't. But at the same time, it's encouraging because I feel like Lola will run right through Izzy. All right, Tate Wilder introduced to Mr. Stone. Oh, here's Lola. All right. Here comes our women's champion, Lola Vice, taking the long walk to the arena, and she is not smiling. No dancing either. Only the dance of her normal strut. I hope Damian Priest has been nice to her today because she looks like she's ready to smack somebody. Interesting, Tyrell. Yeah, Lula. Yeah, Lola will come up eventually. She's too good as a complete presentation not to at least get a shot at the main roster, unless she just decides she's had enough at some point. But no, she's got too much motion, and I don't mean that literally. She's just too much passion to not be a believable main roster talent. Oh, Sean Spears via satellite. Why is she not ready, George? All right, Nico and Izzy in the ring now. Oh, Mr. Iguana's here. Nico, you done messed up now. Oh, Layeska with the shot. There we go. Her partner from AAA, Mr. Iguana, comes out from under the ring. We going to get a mixed tag match maybe? Maybe next week? Big Iguana chance. Dark State arguing. Selling the and bumping for the stuffed lizard is part of the fun. And honestly, I'm glad that is Izzy Dame. If a NXT talent has to bump for Layeska, I'm glad it's her. Cutler and Osiris yelling at both of them. All right, Cutler and Osiris deciding they're going to go after the tag belts. Yeah, George, I don't mean next week. I think she's ready now, but yeah, it's like I felt with Blake Monroe. Just because I feel like someone is ready doesn't mean I want them to go next week. You know what I mean? I just think if they decided to call her up, she'd be successful. So I think Lola's ready. I think Kalani is ready. I think Miss Parker is almost ready. I'd like to see a little bit more development from her in the ring, and honestly, I'd kind of like to see her change her gear up a little bit, just a touch, to pop more for main roster TV. That's just my thought while we're talking about the women's division. Lizzy Rain, Chris Wrestling Views. She's a new signee. I mean, she's an indie wrestler. I saw like a little bit of an edit somebody made online of her, some of her indie work. She looks like she's got a whole lot of she's got a whole lot of upside. So I'm interested to see how her and Nikita's chemistry is. He gives me vibes of Riot Squad and Tekla. I can see a little bit of that. Hey, Raven Aries, welcome to the chat. Subscribe, hit the like button if you haven't done that before already. The big guy was Will Cruz from the British indie scene. Okay. Appreciate the update on that. No clue. Jim Cornette probably hates him because he looks like an actual wrestling fan. Like we were all, I don't know if any of us actually believed he was a fan, but we were kind of like, surely security would be mobbing the ring right now and protecting Tony D'Angelo if this was an actual fan. But his moonsault was way too clean for it not to be. But yeah. Anyway, Lizzy Rain debuting next. Chris Wrestling Views. Let's see. Sophie, yeah. Jada and Lola, they have a similar amount of time. Mark, Shamanica asked, do you like Liv's new theme? You know what? I think it's perfect for her, Shamanica, and I kind of hate it. Does that work? Like I hate it because it gets stuck in my head and it's a song that I don't care for. I will just be walking around the house and be like, trouble, trouble in my head. I'm like, oh my gosh, they've done it. They've done it. They've created an earworm and I'm so mad at them about it. Anyway, minute left on commercial break. One last comment from before the show. How do you feel about Jacob Fatu acting like Haku? First of all, any Samoan who decides to tap into his inner Haku, the wrestling world is better for it, especially if it's Jacob Fatu. I have yet to watch the entire segment from last night, okay? I did hear he busted out the old Tongan death grip on Roman. Dangerous Jacob is the right Jacob every day of the week. Getting back to his non-soundbite promos and just talking like he's on the streets of Bay Area, like he needs to tap into that and lean into that because nobody else is doing that. Not in mainstream wrestling. It will make him more special, make him more memorable, and the fans will jump on board with it. He doesn't need to lean on catchphrases like other Samoans. So yeah, absolutely, he should. It is kind of like a Taylor Swift, or it tagged me as like an old Britney Spears song, Sophie. Cornette does like pieces of NXT. NXT really is kind of a buffet. They throw all kinds of different tastes at you, and they just see what sticks and they move up. Wonder how Priest feels about Mr. Iguana. I imagine he probably doesn't feel too threatened. He seems like a secure man. Okay, Lizzy Rain. Oh, she's announcing herself, kind of like Big E. AJ, not in love with the way this Fatu Roman thing is unfolding. Well, I do need to watch it to have a fully informed opinion on it, for sure. Okay. Lizzy Rain has a bit of a wildness to her. She looks like she stole one of JC Jane's old outfits. All right, she's got a lot of energy. I like her graphic. It's very glam, not even glam, yeah, kind of glam rock. There's some Joan Jett, some Def Leppard kind of Van Halen in her. Like, I like this. Right, B. She's got a glow vibe, but she can actually wrestle. She's just not like she's just not trying to get male eyes on her. So this should be fun. And here comes, speaking of doing too much, here comes Nikita Lyons. Let's see how many emotes she has. I only kid with Nikita, but we'll see what happens. Promo from Nikita. What's up, RT Rick? Nikita always doing too much. Sorry. She's so extra. So we get Nikita Lyons against the debuting Lizzy Rain. RT Rick, we have had a ton of debuts tonight. I can't even give you a list of how many people we saw. Probably the biggest name that showed up is Evil from New Japan, former IWGP champion who confronted Tony D'Angelo. But we got a lot of Evolve and LFG names showing up out of nowhere, and a few international stars too. So it's going to be a new landscape here in the next couple of weeks. Nikita's on LFG season 3. Yeah, I heard LFG is getting an overhaul in how they do the show. Uh-oh, buffering. Gotta love it. Gotta love buffering. It's taking me a minute. Sorry, buddy. Oh yeah, she's all ladies. You're right, George. Nikita has slimmed down. She's leaner and meaner. I think that the pay off for her because I know she had some knee problems, I think, before. So that might be in her best interest for long term success. I think the crowd is chanting "Make it rain." They got to be careful with that. Surely they're talking to Lizzy, but Nikita might hear that and act out of pocket. I did watch the Hulk Hogan documentary. Last name. It was interesting. Like most documentaries, it didn't really touch on everything. Um, but I found it compelling at times. Honestly, I think the most impactful moment of the whole doc for me after Hogan passed, just seeing this stretch of Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Jesse Ventura, and Kevin Nash talking back to back to back, dueling missing roundhouses. Oh, she caught Nikita with that kick, high head kick. Hacksaw broke my heart. Like he just broke down, kind of grieving Hogan right there on camera. Diamond Cutter, what's up, Swaby? Good to see you. I found Jesse to be really respectful and kind of how he eulogized Hogan, talking about Hogan was immortal, man, and when he died, it made me feel like our whole era died. And geez, just hard. And then Nash speaking truth, man, just dropping facts about how important Hogan was in the pantheon of important pro wrestlers. A ringer for Sherry Martel. Nice comp there, RT Rick. They're working pretty well together, Lizzy and Nikita. I get kind of a Queen of Hearts vibe from Nikita with her getup tonight. I need a pig here. Vader bomb. Nope, misses. All right, Lizzy. Leapfrog over. Charge. Oh, man. She got all of that European uppercut. She looks like the dude for Quiet Riot, just like insane. Golly. I was about to say AC/DC, and her finisher is called Thunderstruck. Ooh, that step up kick was nasty work. And that's a beautiful kick. And she's going to be able to pull that off against anybody on the roster. Okay. We've got a new hot finisher alert. That's gonna be great. Even though they're both baby faces, I kind of want to see her and Tatum mix it up. What do you guys think? I thought it was an uppercut last name. I thought it was like a sloppy uppercut, but maybe it was a headbutt. Tavion and Miles. Yes, Wavy. When I heard that Chase got cut, I wasn't surprised because of how little we've gotten out of Chase U. But I always loved Chase U as an NXT gimmick. Always thought it was a lot of fun. All right, Tavion's finding his edge. Who else is it? There's Keanu. That's the quietest I've ever seen Keanu show up. Keanu got to step up his in-ring game. I mean, listen, he's a good threatening presence and a decent promo, but he got to do something. Got to do more in that ring. All right. Kalani versus Ren Sinclair, 101, non-speed title. So we get in a regular old match tonight. Got some people that were on NXT caught before they had a chance to make it. Yeah. Oh, George, you can tell they're putting their chips in on Keanu Carver. They're going to try to make something out of him. Ms. Mello, her versus Ren. This being not for the speed title really makes me wonder if Kalani doesn't end up taking this, but we'll see what happens. There's an ad for LFG, the new season. Okay. What is the main event tonight? Well, all of the announced matches have already taken place. So I wonder, let's think about who we haven't seen. We haven't seen Zarya tonight. We haven't seen Tatum live tonight. Oh, Shiloh and Ricky Saints. Shiloh and Ricky Saints is the main event. I forgot about that. We haven't seen that match yet. And this is probably going to be Ricky's swan song because we've been informed he's going to debut on SmackDown. So that's my guess. RT Rick, thanks, man. I hope your week's going well too, dude. We take it day by day here in the Marked by Wrestling household. Try to make each day a little bit better than yesterday. And that's all we can do, right? Swaby Essence, Ethan Page is on Monday Night Raw. Most likely he's in the IC title picture. Yes, he does keep making himself known in that scene. Do you think he wins it in the Intercontinental Championship, customizes it with Canadian? I think it would be a fun continuation of that gimmick. I think that would be really entertaining that he could do that. I'm not ready for Penta to not be champion anymore, but it is a very interesting Intercontinental title scene right now with Penta, Rusev, Javon, and Ethan Page as well. And probably more, but those currently appear to be the sort of four corners of that division right now post-Mania. So, yeah, man. It's a good time. It's still a good time to be a wrestling fan. It may not be a great time to buy tickets to a wrestling show, but you know what? It's still pretty good to watch it on TV and enjoy that time and have a good time. Danhausen, Tatum, and Shiloh, Adam's family faction. I wouldn't mind seeing an interaction with Danhausen and Shiloh, or Danhausen and Tatum. It would be a fun little bit. Bring back Lance Storm and the Canadian title. Man, I tell you what, for all of the horrifically bad things that happened in WCW in 1999 and 2000 and the early goings of 2001, the Lance Storm run was special. I don't think it really doesn't get talked about very much, but Lance Storm was something they really got right. When they put him on the run where he was U.S. champion, cruiserweight champion, and hardcore champion, and he renamed all the belts to Canadian belts and put little decals on them and stuff like that, kind of like what we saw with Ethan Page, but even more. Team Canada, I was kind of right on Team Canada itself as a faction, but Lance as a solo act in that year, he was running hard, and I kind of wish he had that the Radicals had stuck around just a little bit longer, and Lance could have run some main event stuff, because you could have gotten Benoit and Storm, Eddie and Storm, Ray and Storm, Malenko and Storm. You didn't really get a ton of interaction there, and they were all gone pretty quickly once Lance Storm was getting his run. So that's a bummer. I hear Rey Mysterio's music. But of course, when Lance Storm makes his way over to WWE as well, like they never saw what was special about his dry personality. Lance Storm's "If I Could Be Serious for a Minute" is one of the most underrated wrestling catchphrases of all time. Vanity Project. Oh yeah. Jackson Drake pulled what's her name as a date last week. Micah, the giant China. Jasper Troy step into Jackson Drake. Jackson Drake versus Jasper Troy. Can I say again how proud I am of NXT for choosing to make Jackson Drake seemingly legitimately smitten with Micah? It shouldn't be this way, but it comes off as an actual bold progressive choice to make him actually into her. So I'm for it. And here is our favorites, Ren QCC, Ren Sinclair making her way into the ring. Ren and Kendall. All right. This could be the sleeper match of the night, you guys. Let's lock in. Kendall and Ren. Listen, I'm a mark for Ren Sinclair, so I want Ren to win. But I think Kendall could actually, not Kendall, sorry, Kalani could take this one. It being a non-title match is messing with my head. Oh, takedown. Let's go. Ren's just straight up taking Kalani to the dungeon here. You love to see it. Kendall and Kalani. Oh man, that would be a fun match too. Ricky's getting hyped up for the main event tonight, which we should be getting after this match. That's right, Ren XT, baby. Oh, drop down. Oh, reversal. Swing and a miss from Ren. Yeah, I mean, listen, man. I want to give flowers to Kalani and to Ren for this match. Like not a lot of wasted movement in this match. They are working at a steady pace, and they're wrestling. Like they're not just running to spots. Really good match so far. Match of the night so far, easily. Compare this to the Shawn Legacy tag match, which was really exciting in its own way, but those guys just kind of rushed from like spot to spot. These girls are telling a story. They're working their way through this match. They're actually working wrestling. Natty and Ren in a speed match. Actually, that would be a lot of fun. RT Rick, 100%. Like Ren is kind of like a little Natty in a way that she could have a job forever with WWE. Because even if she never becomes a Rhea Ripley type, she could make every match look good and anybody they put her with to look like $1 million. And that is a valuable quality to have in a job in pro wrestling. I think Kendall's going to be that X factor in this match, George. I can see what you mean. Because I think we got to get Kendall and Kalani one-on-one here again soon. Female Dolph, I could see that too. I see her. Yeah, she doesn't do that Kurt Hennig style of selling like Dolph does, but there is that shared quality of I'm good enough to shine on my own, but I can also make you look amazing. Did Ren tweak her knee a little bit? She has more personality than Natty, I think, for sure. So that Chelsea-ness is, but I don't find it obnoxious. I find it endearing with Chelsea. Like Chelsea's brand of brashness is Karenish, and for me, Ren's is like, like feisty little sister. If that makes sense. Which era of wrestling do you think was ahead of its time? Let's go here, Swaby. The question. Honestly, ahead of its time. Yeah, on commentary, by the way, in picture, they are saying that Ren might have tweaked her left knee. Okay, Ren's selling the knee hard now. Era of wrestling is ahead of its time. You know what? I kind of want to say the mid to late 80s Jim Crockett NWA. Actually, late 80s, early 90s WCW NWA. Some people think of those times and think about the worst of it, but when you look at the best of it, they were hard hitting matches. They were kind of stiff from time to time. They were capable of having some long time limit matches, 20-minute affairs, some occasionally a 45-minute match. Yeah. So I think that was ahead of its time for sure, because we come back and all of the emphasis on making you feel something with the characters, and also competent in-ring storytelling. I think that was present in some WWF wrestling in that same time, but it was kind of the norm in late 80s, early 90s NWA. There was some cartoonishness there too, for sure. But yeah, so that's what I would go with. Also, late 80s NWA was the first appearance in America that I can recall of the Great Muta. And the Great Muta defines ahead of his time for me. He and Jushin Thunder Liger, I think, are two, and Rey Mysterio are three ahead of their time wrestlers I think of immediately. And to a degree, I'll even say Pillman, Flying Brian, who I talked about earlier, Lexus King's father, all guys ahead of their time. So yeah. AJ says the Attitude Era. Definitely, I mean, there was a lot going on there that was groundbreaking at the time as well. When Owen came to WWE and brought the high-flying ropes and rope flips, yeah, I mean, Owen, the first time around as the Blue Blazer, 89, WrestleMania 5. Me and my brother actually talked about that recently. That episode of Mount Rushmore Matches hasn't actually gone up, but we talked about WrestleMania 3 and WrestleMania 5. Two shows we grew up watching over and over and over again. The Blue Blazer and Mr. Perfect had a brief match that could have been twice as long at WrestleMania 5. Talk about ahead of their time. Both of those guys doing stuff. It was just little transitional things, but the flips and the reverses and all that stuff would just, yeah. It reminds me of the movie The Prestige, when they do the trick, the transported man trick for the first time, and they're narrating how the trick went, and the guy says the crowd didn't react at all because they didn't fully even understand what they were seeing. Like, not that they didn't like it, they were just so astonished, and like it wasn't that level of reception, but the crowd, like, they were doing so much, it's like the crowd wasn't even prepared to pop. Anyway, that's a comfort food match for me for sure. Blazer and Perfect, WrestleMania 5. Couple of WrestleMania 5 matches are that way for me. That and a tag team match, the Rockers versus Big Boss Man and Hakeem. Also really good. Great reversal there by Ren, protecting her injured leg. I don't think she's hurt. I think she's just selling really, really well. Because Kalani chop blocked her, and if she was legit hurt, they would have told Kalani, and I don't think she would have done that. Man, Ren punching herself in the leg, trying to go for it. That's pretty dope. I'm starting to buffer again, guys. Sorry. Crowd chanting for Ren QCC. Crowd's still behind Ren. Oh man, and just a kick to the leg. Kalani doing good heel work here. Just hit the leg. Just change the momentum of the match, just like that. She can't even stand strong enough, to do the victory roll. Ren, so smart in her selling, like realizing the support that leg can't give is affecting almost every move she's trying to do. Slingshot cutter over the top. Yeah, Kalani's offense evolving a little bit. She's climbing up top. 450 coming. Oh, frog splash hits the knees. She used that bad leg to get the knees up too, though. Rings of Saturn. Oh, she's doing it for that cattle mutilation, but she can't do it. Oh, she can't do it because of the knee. Oh, man. And she can't stand on it. Angle slam. Yeah, her legs out. We're about to get a split-legged moonsault. Kalani wins. Great match. Great match, great story. Phenomenal selling by Ren Sinclair. Absolutely great job for her in the big moments and in the little, selling that leg. Absolutely great. She's still selling it hard too, trying to take her knee pad off and everything. 9 minutes. I'm telling you, man, like in that, they packed a lot into that 9 minutes. And that is great wrestling right there, what Ren did tonight. Like every action like mattered in the progression of the storytelling of the match. Yes, indeed. Let's share it with the class, Dossie. That was a story told in the ring. Loved it. Exactly. And that's all you really got to do sometimes, you know? When you only have 1 week to build a match, like you just tell the story in the match. Referee and Ren Kendall helping her up. Okay, the charred wreckage of Sol Ruka. We're getting a video package from Saria. This is like a movie trailer. Is this AI? This feels like the opening cut scene from a God of War game or something. Did she just snap her? Swaby, 100%, my brother, 100%. Wow. Zarya has parted the seas. She's walking through the surf. I'm in. All right, get a little bit of a video build here about Ricky Saints and Shiloh Hill, our main event tonight. Sorry, guys. I'm starting to run out of energy here.
At the game today. And I still fully understand what happened.
All right.
They were up by like a lot.
SummerSlam ad, guys. All right, so how's everybody's feeling? Releases notwithstanding. Right, B? I'm telling you, man, it's just killing me. And it's a good show. It's been a good show. I see why you guys do it as a pairing. I need to try to drag my wife into this at some point. She won't do it. Nevertheless, what are your guys' feelings on the landscape of WWE post WrestleMania? How are we feeling about Roman and Jacob? How are we feeling about Cody and whatever it is Cody's doing? Yeah, how you feel about different title scenes? Here, question for the class. What's something you're enjoying right now? What's something you wish was better? Listen, I'll start. I think they have been handling Obafemi perfectly since his debut. That is still going well. And I'm happy to see Braun Breaker back. Something I do wish was different I would like a clearer direction for Cody. I just don't see it's a longer conversation about Cody, who I like and who is over. Sometimes I feel Cody is like a microcosm of what I think is wrong with WWE. Like they take monetary and statistical success, and sometimes I think they see that success and immediately think, oh, where all our creative decisions are the right ones then. I honestly think they could be doing even bigger business with some different creative decisions. And I'm not saying take the belt off Cody. It's just like I'm tired. I think Cody's promos are they're full of passion, but they're a little aimless sometimes. Like at the end of the day, sometimes I don't know what you want, Cody. Like I know you can get in the ring and say screw TKO, but like who from TKO is screwing with you now? You already beat Randy. He's not messing with you now. Pat isn't messing with you now. The Rock didn't show up. So you can keep like talking a big game, but until there's an actual face to your anger, what are you talking about? You know? So I just wish Cody had a little bit more focus to his passion, that they could target that on something. George likes Tiffany winning the U.S. title. Okay. Honestly, when I saw Tiffany win the U.S. title, I was scared Julia was going to get cut. But I was just feeling a little dramatic, I think. You don't see JC Jane defeating Rhea Ripley. I don't immediately. I'll say that. Maybe in time it could happen because listen, we all thought Stephanie Vaquer was unbeatable when she was in NXT too. And JC did that thing. He likes seeing people return from an injury. I'm with you, last name. What's next for Randy? Yeah, I don't know. Don't know what's next for Randy. Maybe a break. I'm curious about how his back really is doing because that was an interesting sell job at Mania for sure. They need Lyra to be more wanting her belt back. The worst thing I done was giving it to Becky. Yeah, they're really Lyra seems to really be leaning into the tag scene with Bayley. There's good and bad to that. I think it's good for Bayley. I don't know if it's great for Lyra though. I think Obafemi could get the championship by SummerSlam if done correctly. I agree, Swaby. There's absolutely a pathway to that. The only thing that concerns me is that pathway kind of involves Jacob Fatu getting beat. And I don't know how I feel about that either, you know? I can see Julia versus Kiana James. Yeah, I could see that. Yep. We assumed this would happen, and it is booked for next week. Lola Vice and Mr. Iguana versus the Culling, Izzy and Nico, next week on NXT. Callie Armstrong and Jada Parker. Modfather, are you here? Make sure you're on time next week because you're going to want to see that match. Jasper Troy versus Jackson Drake. I'm actually interested in this match now because I'm assuming Micah gets involved. And I'm curious if they book a spot for Micah to do something to Jasper Troy. We'll see what happens. All right. Here comes Shiloh, you weird, weird man. Sean Spears, George, Sean Spears was live via satellite for the segment tonight. And on the graphic, he was shown like as the corner man for the Culling. All right. 15 minutes for Shiloh Hill and Ricky Saints. Well, Ricky hasn't made his entrance yet, but so they'll have a snug match here, time-wise. Yeah, last name. I absolutely believe Jackson's new girl is going to show up next week, and I'm very interested to see that dynamic play out in front of the crowd. It's not exactly Eddie Guerrero in China, but it could be something. And I hope the crowd is respectful to her. I mean, I got to go with Shiloh in this match. I think Ricky does the honors. on his way out, and he's SmackDown bound. 100% Swaby. When they started showing us Oba dominate Brock in the lead up to WrestleMania, I started thinking that same thing about mirroring Brock's rise, his ascension to the title, his first time around. And it's very Brock-ish what Oba's doing right now. Of course, now he's doing the open challenge and massacred Grayson Waller. I read today somebody said that Obafemi is Adam Pearce's. Hold on. What did he say? That like Adam Pearce is to Obafemi as Teddy Long is to the Undertaker. Like Obafemi is Adam Pearce's personal Undertaker. You can go one-on-one with Obafemi. Feels like it could be going in that direction for a little while they're still building Oba up even more. See her carry Jackson out of the ring. Oh, last name. Brilliant. I would love that. Yeah. You're right, Swaby. Brock debuted the night after X8. And the next WrestleMania, he was in the main event. He was in the main event of WrestleMania in his first year in the company. You know, the one thing about NXT, and especially this week, that's dawning on me a little bit, sometimes we get these first-time matchups or these matchups that get time on TV, and you realize how good some people's chemistry is, and you're like, dang, I kind of hate that they gave us this match without any build whatsoever. I'm still thinking about that Ren Sinclair Kalani Jordan match, and I'm like, could you imagine if they had a feud for weeks and that was like the PLE match that we had just watched? That would have been beautiful. I'm still thankful and grateful for the match we got tonight, but yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun because I know Ricky's on his way out, but he and Shiloh probably could have had a decent feud too, you know. And their chemistry is not bad. These two guys. Wonder if Jay's going to call Jacob on SmackDown. Yeah. So what are we doing with the Usos? Who under the ring? It's a dummy. There's a Shiloh dummy with a hockey mask on, and here comes Shiloh running senton off the steps. That's some goofy NXT stuff right there. Sometimes Shiloh is silly and it's funny, and sometimes Shiloh is silly and it's a little too much. I'm not sure what that spot exactly was. I feel like it was a little too much, if I'm being honest. But yeah, we'll allow it for tonight. Tonight is kind of the great reset. So part of going forward is finding out what works and what doesn't. Shiloh as a performer works. Bro, if we got a Danhausen cameo, actually, this would be a brilliant time to do a Danhausen cameo because then they could follow up on it on Friday with Ricky. But I don't think they'll go to all that trouble because Danhausen's pretty much entrenched with The Miz right now, isn't he? Only a 2 count. Do you think he's a joke, Ricky? Do you think he's a joke? You got to be joking me, Ricky. I miss the Iconics, man. Yeah, Evil. I wonder if they save Evil for a PLE debut. Because otherwise, I think we would have seen him debut next week. That running stomps by Ricky isn't doing it for me. Oh, good kick to the back though by Ricky there. He cursed everyone at top merch sales, right, RT? Yeah, you know what? Out of everything, all the silly little Demandhausens that Danhausen's had, I'm surprised his face isn't on the side of one of the trucks yet. You know that's got to be coming, right? Because they gave him the blimp. He was actually, he was present at the Hall of Fame. So other things have happened. Roman Reigns said on Monday they created that championship that he's holding in spite of him because he was holding the championship hostage. Well, yeah, I mean, he was holding it hostage because he won the other two belts and then he went part-time. I don't think that's a flex. But Roman can make just about anything sound like a flex, though, if he tries hard enough. Can I imagine Danhausen's Intercontinental Champion? No, honestly. On the flip side of what I said about the Wyatt Six earlier tonight, I don't want Danhausen in any title pictures. I think you just keep him in individual feuds with people, or even as part of a group. That's fine too. But I absolutely do not want him. And even what he did with Dom, cursing Dom, so Dom loses his title, but he wasn't the one wrestling him. For me, this is just speaking of my fandom. The less Danhausen wrestles in the ring, the better. The more he is a force of nature on the show, an agent of chaos on the show, the better. I appreciate him far more in those contexts than actually wrestling. Do you think they'll have Oba facing jobbers, more interesting opponents? I think Dawsey will probably get more Grayson Wallers and War Raiders, people who have had some cachet at some point in their career, but not at the top of their game. We might also have a call-up or two show up and challenge Oba. Because you could see and have them, maybe not get. That's the hard thing though with Oba, is I wouldn't want to keep it too competitive because we have laid a ground level expectation of what Obafemi did to Brock Lesnar. So in my estimation, for my money, unless he's challenging for a title or fighting a main eventer, or unless he's outnumbered, everybody else has to get manhandled better than he manhandled Brock Lesnar. You absolutely cannot, I cannot stress enough, you cannot put him in a match with Logan Paul, or maybe not Logan Paul. You can't put him in a match with Austin Theory or Ethan Page or JD McDonough and have them last longer than Brock did. Can't have them get more offense than Brock did. So, yeah. Can't let that happen. The only people that should apply to are the CM Punks, the Roman Reigns, the Cody Rhodes, the Randy Ortons, the Jacob Fatus, Drew McIntyres, maybe. Basically people who have been WWE champion at one point or another, or world champion. Man, big forearm shot out of the free fall. Now Roman's holding the belt that he deemed secondary, saying the man makes the title Yeah, so like if he can say that, he can say the man makes the title. That's an argument wrestlers make sometimes, and Roman's going to have to do that now that he's in this situation. Daniel out of the housing. So no. Shiloh's climbing the top rope. We're nearing the end of the show here, so we're probably going to be heading to the end to wrap up here. Oh, ref bump. But the ref hasn't bumped. Ricky pushed the ref into the ropes, and it crotches Shiloh on the corner. But Ricky, proud of himself, climbs up to the turnbuckle. What are we going to get here? Superplexing. Oh, big superplex from Ricky. Only 2, though. That's not enough. Yeah, that was a rough superplex. I think Ricky's about to go for that tornado DDT. Crowd chant for Shiloh. Oh, the tooth got knocked out, everybody. Ricky doesn't even know his days are numbered. Uh-oh. Ricky's in trouble. Oh, and one good turn deserves another. Ricky now crossed on the top rope. The old trope of Ultimate Warrior shaking the ropes while you're straddling them. Yeah, hate to see it. Ricky knocked out to the outside. We got to go home here soon, fellas. Oh, Shiloh dropped face first on the top of the steps. And now Ricky going for a Rochambeau on the outside of the ring. Shiloh thrown in the ring. And now what's Ricky doing? Ricky going for a chair? Ricky's got the chair. Well, the ref takes the chair out of his hands, obviously. Oh, he pushes the ref. Big right hand from Shiloh. Drop toe hold on the chair. And Whisper to the Beast is what his finish is called, and Shiloh wins. That finish was kind of overbooked. Shiloh wins. Honestly, that finish felt like it was booked to protect Ricky in a way. And it just felt kind of silly. Like Ricky hit his finish on the outside of the ring on Shiloh Hill, threw him back in the ring, didn't go for the cover, decided to go for a chair. And that didn't make a lot of sense to me. And I don't know. I would have just rather him not hit his finish and have him get frustrated by Shiloh and be desperate enough to go for the chair. But when you compare the storytelling in this match versus the storytelling of the Ren Sinclair Kalani Jordan match, night and day. The women's match was far and away better. Shiloh's got a whole lot going on though. Shiloh's got a lot of upside. He doesn't need to be in the main roster anytime soon, and there's a lot of potential there. And Ricky, God bless him, hope he thrives on SmackDown. Tony D. Is this meeting still happening from the beginning of the show? What's Tony D going to say? He loves the chaos. Okay. Tony D dropping an F-bomb to HBK. Saying, bring it on. Let's freaking go, LFG. So Tony's fired up for the new landscape of NXT. Ren and Kalani completely rocked the house tonight. I'm absolutely over the moon for the both of them in their match tonight. Fantastic. Their match was phenomenal. The rest of the show was good. As NXT is wont to do every week, it gives us a little bit of a appetizer of what's to come. We have a lot of names on the horizon, so I imagine the weeks to come, we'll probably get to see them and see what we're working with, see what kind of hand we've been dealt here. Yeah, last name Lizzy's debut was good. Nikita is looking better in the ring as well. BirthRight doing BirthRight things, even though they lost their match. We're going to get more development with the Vanity Project next week, which is a lot of fun. As Dark State is kind of de-evolving into Shugars versus Lennox, I'm kind of into that. Tavion Heights finding a new attitude is also interesting too. I kind of like that sort of Kurt Angle style presentation with more heelish swagger. Shelton Benjamin was like that to a degree as a tag wrestler with Charlie Haas, but I don't think he ever fully got the machine behind him as a single that way. I mean, he was still really good, and I love Shelton, but it'd be interesting to see what Tavion makes of his opportunity now that he's adjusted his stuff and everything. And then let's see, what else do we have tonight? Shiloh was fun. Tatum we'll see more of, I'm sure, in the weeks to come. I'm glad Lola and Iguana made short work of the culling. I expect them to win next week as well. Although I'm nervous they'll have Izzy go over to give her a title match. Because if they win the mixed tag, although maybe this whole thing is a setup for the mixed tag and they have another female in mind to challenge Lola, I wouldn't mind that at all. And yeah, so anyways, the roster is there. The men, obviously, there's a lot more younger names on their way up. And the women still have a lot of depth. And it'll be interesting to see where we go from here, because now we're dealing with a babyface champion show now, other than the Vanity Project. So we'll see what happens. All right. You love Lizzy's finisher. Yeah, I liked that too. Last name was really good. 8.8, outstanding, magnificent. Thank you, Tyrell. Last name 10, love it. George, solid 8.5. Swavey says, do you think Ricky goes for the U.S. title since it's on Trick? Ricky and Ethan both, I mean this respectfully, they both scream mid-card on the main roster to me. I think they both are going to look small next to the main eventers on the main roster. So I think they're both like terminally mid-card. But hear me out, because we've taken the word mid to be a bad thing. But I also just want to say, like the British Bulldog, Kerry Von Erich, Mr. Perfect, Bret Hart, early on in his singles run, Shawn Michaels early on in his singles run, Randy Savage early on in his singles run. There were some really, really solid mid-card acts. Tito Santana, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, the Honky Tonk Man. There are a lot of ridiculously solid mid-card acts in the glory days of WWF. And we're getting some of those now. If you just look at the IC title picture, we talked about that earlier tonight, right? We have Penta, we have JD McDonough, we have Javon Evans, we have Ethan Page, we have Rusev. So many big acts on Raw. And now look at SmackDown with the U.S. title. We've got Trick Williams. Sami Zayn's still there, although he can float up and down from the main roster, the main event scene, rather. You've got Ilya Dragunov. You've still got Carmelo Hayes. Ricky Saints will be coming into that picture. Yeah, man, like it's fun to have a good, strong mid-card. Like one of my favorite eras of wrestling, one of my favorite divisions of wrestling was the Monday Nitro mid-card during the peak Monday Night Wars of like 96, 97, 98. Talking when it was a blend of cruiserweight and like mid-card. Talking Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Ultimo Dragon, Dean Malenko, Kidman, Raven, Saturn, Diamond Dallas Page, Chris Benoit, even Kurt Hennig and Mongo McMichael, and like Rick Martel, Booker T, Finley, Regal, like all those guys. Yeah, solid deep division, churning out highly watchable matches every single week. And so I think WWE's mid card is in a really strong place. So hopefully, that will give us the lay of the land on Raw and SmackDown with their mid card divisions, and we'll get to see some of them shine and move up, and they'll make those mid card matches must watch as well, because that's when wrestling shines, man. Is when everybody on the card kind of knows their role, no pun intended, and really sinks their teeth into the position on the card that they're doing. They play their position. And when everybody on the team plays their position, you have an unbeatable team. And so hopefully we'll get a lot of that with all these call-ups coming on Raw and SmackDown. Because when you play your position well, sometimes you find your groove, and sometimes you prove your worth to get promoted up to a higher position on the card. So we'll see what happens. Stay ready, as Matt Cardona would say. Again, another solid mid-carder. Thank you, George. You guys have been an awesome chat tonight. We've had a lot of fun. I am going to let you guys go so I can go rest the old voice and enjoy the rest of the evening. You guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be around lurking online here and there. But if I don't see you before, I'll see you next week for another action-packed NXT. Love this Zarya. Oh, yeah, here we go. Let's hit this before we go. Love the Zarya Soul segment. Looks spooky. Yeah. Like that, I was getting some real like God of War PS5 kind of vibes from Zarya, and also, the pastoral, biblical man of faith that I am. The imagery of her walking through the parted sea, the subtext of her basically running right through Sol Ruca with that and leaving the fire in her wake. It's pretty cool because, biblically speaking, the parting of the Red Sea was a major stepping stone for the children of Israel to get to the promised land. So for Zarya getting through Soul, Lola, handle your business with Izzy, but I'd watch your back for Zarya really, really soon. So just a thought. Nevertheless, you guys enjoy your week. Good to see you guys. Have a great night. Love you so much. And don't forget to be a mark, right? Because being a mark means you believe. Believing makes wrestling better. See you guys next week. Take care.